You know, there's a market that you're a part of every single day, and you've probably never even heard of it. It's this vast, global infrastructure that's been built not to trade goods or services, but something way more personal: the very wiring of our minds. So think about the most powerful tech companies in the world. What are they all really, truly competing for? You might think it's your time or maybe your attention, and you'd be close, but the real prize they're after is something much, much deeper. They are competing for this, your neural predictability. It's the ability to forecast, to nudge, and ultimately to cash in on what you're going to feel and do next. And this isn't just some new marketing trick. It's a fundamental change in how influence itself actually works. Now, this powerful new industry, it has a name. So let's step into what we're calling the market for minds and really unpack what's going on behind our screens. It's called the Biometric Neurodata Complex. Yeah, I know it's a total mouthful, but the crucial point is this. It's a system designed to shape how we think and how we feel, and on a massive scale. And the wild part is, it evolved from something that started out surprisingly simple.
Right. So to really get how this whole complex was built, we need to go back to its origins. It all kicked off in the world of advertising, with a really old and, well, a really frustrating problem.
Advertisers were just tearing their hair out. I mean, they'd run focus groups, they'd do surveys, and people would say, "Oh yeah, I love that product," and then they'd never buy it. There was this huge gap between what we say we'll do and what we actually do. They needed a better way to figure out our true feelings. And this timeline just shows the incredible speed of it all. It started with bringing people into these early labs, but we know surveys weren't cutting it. So they moved on to neuromarketing, directly measuring things like your heart rate. But the real game changer, the AI supercharger. All of a sudden, all that expensive lab gear could basically be replaced by the sensors that are already in your phone. And this is the exact moment everything changed. For the very first time, human emotion could be quantified. It could be turned into data points. And once something becomes data, well, it can be analyzed, predicted, and used as leverage in a gigantic new marketplace. So that brings us to today's emotional marketplace. And this is where the sheer scale of the operation becomes, well, it's truly mind-boggling. And it's all built on a new kind of natural resource. Think about it. Every major economy is built on some key resource, right? For the Industrial Revolution, it was coal and steel. For the Tech Revolution, it was silicon. But for this new economy of influence, the raw material is something else entirely. It's emotion itself. Your happiness, your anger, your curiosity, your fear. These feelings are the raw materials being mined and traded every single second. But how? They're harvested by the technology we use constantly. I mean, just think about it for a second. Your smartwatch tracks your rising heart rate during a tense movie. Your phone can analyze the stress in your voice. Your laptop camera can track where your eyes linger on a page, even just the speed and the rhythm of your typing. All of these are emotional signals, and they are all being collected. And here's the basic three-step flow of how it works. First, your devices and apps harvest these emotional signals. Second, AI firms take this mountain of data and build incredibly powerful predictive models. And third, advertisers, political campaigns, and all sorts of other groups deploy these models to influence you. It's a continuous, self-improving loop. So this is the really crucial point, the dual-use nature of this tech. Look, an app that can detect early signs of depression just from your voice patterns, that's incredible. But that exact same technology could be used by an authoritarian state to identify political dissidents. The potential for good and the potential for control, they're two sides of the very same coin. This dual-use problem brings us to a critical turning point in this whole story. We're talking about the political conversion. That's the moment these tools, which were built for commerce, were turned into powerful instruments of political persuasion. The big inflection point was 2016. This was the year the world really woke up to how this machinery could be used not just to sell you stuff, but to shape elections. What Cambridge Analytica did was give us this terrifying proof of concept. By mashing up social media data with personality models, so-called psychographic data, they could pinpoint a person's deepest anxieties and triggers. Then, they targeted those people with messages designed to stoke those exact emotions, either to get them to vote or, just as powerfully, to convince them not to vote at all. This slide really shows the fundamental shift. We moved way beyond simple market segmentation, where marketers group people by what they buy. This was something else entirely. Psychological operations being deployed on a civilian population. The tools were the same, but the objective was profoundly different. And this leads us to the final, and maybe the most alarming evolution of this technology. We're moving from commerce and politics into the realm of national security, where your mind itself is becoming the battle space. Now that is not a line from a sci-fi movie. That is a direct quote from military strategists at places like NATO and the Pentagon. They now officially see the cognitive and emotional landscape of a population as a domain of warfare, just like land, sea, air, and space.
The doctrine is actually called cognitive warfare. It's the strategic unification of everything we've been talking about, the analytics from advertising, the insights from behavioral economics, and the tactics of psychological operations. And it's all aimed at one goal: controlling an information environment by controlling how people feel.
So the Biometric Neurodata Complex, it's not just a commercial industry anymore. It has become a new domain of geopolitical power, where influence can literally be bought, sold, and deployed as a strategic weapon.
And here's why all of this really matters. For years, we worried about our personal data being stolen, but the threat has evolved. It's no longer just about your data, it's about our collective autonomy, our ability as a society to think freely and make decisions without being invisibly manipulated.
Which leaves us with a final, pretty sobering thought. In an age where our emotions are just data, and our minds are the new marketplace, the most important question we have to ask ourselves has changed. It's no longer just, is my data safe? The real question is my mind?